Paris, the capital of the European country of France, home of history, culture, Gothic architecture, fine French cuisine, and the latest in high fashion. Paris is also well known for being regarded as the city of love, or amour. There are countless love stories that come from this great city. However, not all of them start in Paris. There is one particular story that is a bit unusual, but still just as romantic nonetheless. This one takes place back during the mid-1890s during the turn of the 19th century, or otherwise known back then as the Gay 90s, and first starts in the region of Provence in southeastern France. It tells the story of a lovely young lady named Musette. No last name, just Musette. Why no last name, you may ask? You see, Musette was not a person. She was, in fact, a cat. A beautiful white cat who lived with her owner on a small farm not too far from a rural village. One sunny spring day, Musette was out for a little stroll when she came across a small pond. The water in it was completely clear and still without a single ripple. So much so, in fact, that she was able to see her own reflection perfectly clear, as if she was looking in a mirror. But as she was looking at her own reflection, admiring herself,
Musette, Musette, my heart for you is one big throb. Musette, Musette, my love for you is formidable. Your smile starts the day with a bright and gay bonjour. Your laugh is allé, and your voice is vive l'amour. Buds bloom and breezes blow. Love sings wherever you go. Musette, Musette, you will say enchanté once you've met my poupée, Musette.
Musette turned to see where the singing was coming from, and was very pleased to see who was singing that song. His name was Jean Tom, an orange tabby cat and Musette's love interest, and following closely behind was Robespierre, a little black and white kitten and Jean Tom's best friend. Musette was pleased to see Jean Tom, and she enjoyed the song he was singing, and Jean Tom was just as pleased to see Musette.
Hello, Jean Tom.
Hello, Musette.
That was a very nice song you were singing, Jean Tom. Please sing some more for me.
Musette, you know I can't sing it when you're looking at me.
Robespierre, however, didn't like the romance going on between them. He felt it was getting in the way of his friendship with Jean Tom.
Amour, amour, amush.
Just then, he spotted a little mouse pop out from the grass, which immediately scurried off as soon as it saw the little kitten. Robespierre grew excited when he saw the mouse. He immediately rushed over to Jean Tom, while Musette was leaning on his chest, snuggling him lovingly.
Oh, Jean Tom, you're wonderful.
Robespierre had to tug on his tail to get his attention.
Jean Tom! Jean Tom!
Huh?
Jean Tom! A moose! A moose! I mean a mouse! It's as big as a goose! I mean it's a whopper!
Now Jean Tom became excited when Robespierre told him about the mouse.
A mouse? Where? Where?
At the barn! Hurry! Hurry! Come on! Let's go!
And Jean Tom rushed up with Robespierre, causing Musette to fall onto the ground. She saw the two cats race away to chase after the mouse, and wasn't too happy that Jean Tom just up and ran off.
Jean Tom, you're a clumsy country clod.
With that, Musette turned on her tail and headed back to her farm. Meanwhile, Jean Tom and Robespierre had followed the mouse to the barn. One other fact you should know about Jean Tom is that he is an expert mouser, a cat who's very skilled at catching mice and rats. Once the mouse came out from a small crack in the barn door, Jean Tom immediately took aim, brandished his claws, took position, and shot himself forward like a missile at great speed, and Jean Tom had successfully caught his mouse.
Bravo! Bravo!
After catching the mouse, Jean Tom then marched victoriously back toward Musette's farm.
Hey, Jean Tom! What are we gonna do with our mouse?
Well, we'll wrap it up as a gift and give it to Musette.
Musette. Bah. That's all I ever hear around this place.
Musette, Musette. Hear them say enchanté and hurrah and hooray and ma foi, touché, ooh la la, olé. So we say in Francais, vive la France, vive la gay Musette.
Meanwhile, at the farm where Musette lived, her owner's sister had come from Paris to pay her a visit. Right now, they were having an argument about why she chose to leave the high light of Paris and lived a simple life on a farm in the country.
But my dear sister, how can you continue to bury yourself on this farm?
I like it here, Jeunesse chérie. I choose to live here. And now, tell me about this friend of yours in Paris. Is he nice?
Oh, my dear sister, what manners. So polished. Not at all like the plebeian peasants you would meet out here.
The peasants, they are good and honest and very happy.
Happy on this pile of dust? How can you allow yourself to go to seed like a fat duck?
Ducks don't go to seed, my dear sister.
Well, like a vegetable, then. That's what you are, Marie, a cabbage, an artichoke.
True, Jeunesse, and vegetables are happiest on farms.
But, darling, think of Paris. Lovely, gay Paris. Have you forgotten the sidewalk cafes? And how we sipped champagne? The button champignons sautéed in butter with tiny shreds of ham. And, oh, my dear, the Champs-Élysées.
As Musette listened to her owner's sister, she became fascinated by all the things she said about Paris, even if she didn't quite understand all of it. Her owner's sister then turned her attention toward Musette as she sat on the windowsill.
Oh, what a lovely feline. Too bad her beauty is wasted here. Now, in Paris, she would be perfumed and curled and have a stunning coiffure. We would go everywhere in style, wouldn't we, Sherry? The Rivoli, Maxime's, the Place Pigalle, boating on the Seine, with the music of Paris surrounding and caressing us. Oh, those nights, so sparkling, so clear, that each star becomes the glittering point of a great blue diamond.
Take my hand, Paris. Share your dreams with me. Take my heart to Mad Montmartre or buy me the Rivoli. Make me the belle of Place Pigalle, siren along the Seine. Make me the ultra doll Modigliani can claim as his mannequin. Pour your wine, Paris. Down it with say la vie. Let me hear lovers sighing. Quelle mademoiselle, ah, que belle. Show me the way to all my dreams through the claret of gay Maxime's. Set my heart free. Let me be grand and be seen hand in hand with Paris. Sighing, quelle mademoiselle, ah, que belle. Show me the way to all my dreams through the claret at gay Maxime's. maxims set my heart free. Let me be grand and be seen hand in hand with Paris.
Musette! Hey, Musette!
Musette suddenly broke out of her fantasy and looked out the window to see Jean-Tom and Robespierre outside.
What's the matter? Are you deaf or something?
No, I am not deaf or something.
Come on. Read the poem.
Okay. You don't have to push. A poem dedicated to Musette. To Musette, the prettiest cat in all of France. Roses are red, violets are blue. Here is a mouse from me to you. Signed, Jean-Tom.
Jean-Tom then presented Musette the mouse he had caught earlier, complete with a pretty little bow tied to its tail. However, Musette wasn't too happy with Jean-Tom's gift.
Jean-Tom, you take that horrid, vulgar thing away from here this minute. I've never been so insulted. How dare you think that I would eat such a coarse, plebeian thing?
Jean-Tom was surprised with Musette's outburst.
But cats like mice.
Perhaps so. But I am not a cat, I'll have you know.
You're not a cat?
Not a cat?
I am a feline.
Jean-Tom and Robespierre were confused with everything Musette said to them. They didn't understand at all what she meant.
A feline?
You're a what?
I think she means a female Robespierre.
And all felines really like is champagne and champignon and Champs-Élysées. And all I get on this farm is mice and milk. I feel like a cabbage that's gone to seed, like a fat duck.
Ah, gosh, Musette, you're not as fat as a duck.
Oh, go away, you plebeian peasant, you. I never want to see you again.
Jean-Tom, confused and upset with Musette's outburst toward him, started walking sadly back toward his own farm. Robespierre, however, wasn't happy at all with what she said to them.
Now look what you've done, you old feline, you.
Plebeians.
Well, if you don't like us plebeians, why don't you go away with her? I'll bet she just lives on Champagne and Champignyons and Champs Ulysses.
Musette looked over and saw her owner's sister about to leave in a carriage waiting outside.
Why, Robespierre, that's a wonderful idea. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll go to Paris. No more mice and milk for me.
Musette then leapt down from the window, ran to the carriage, and stowed away in the basket on the luggage rack in the back, just as it started to leave the farm.
Bon voyage, Mademoiselle Feline.
Au revoir, Robespierre. Take good care of Jean-Tom.
Robespierre was over the moon to see Musette leave. He thought that now, with her gone, he and Jean-Tom could have all the fun they want together again.
What do you know? She did it! We're free! Yahoo! Free! Free at last!
And Robespierre raced away to tell Jean-Tom the news. Meanwhile, back at their own farm, Jean-Tom was sitting underneath a cartload of hay. He was wondering about Musette's recent behavior toward him earlier when Robespierre came running up to him.
Jean-Tom! Jean-Tom! Where are you, Jean-Tom?
Over here, Robespierre.
You can come on back now. Everything's okay.
Oh, you mean Musette? You mean Musette will take the mouse?
No, she's left, Jean-Tom. Took off. Nothing but fun now that Musette's gone.
When Robespierre told him this, Jean-Tom's reaction was not at all what he was expecting.
Well, what do you mean Musette's gone?
She just went away in the carriage.
Carriage? What carriage?
The one that took her to Paris.
Well, why did she go to Paris?
All felines go to Paris, I guess. Come on, Jean-Tom. Let's go mouse hunting.
But Jean-Tom wasn't interested in catching mice now. Instead, he raced off across the field in the direction the carriage went.
Music! Music!
Surprised that he just took off in the other direction, Robespierre started running after him.
Hey, wait for me.
Music! Come back, music!
Eventually, Jean-Tom finally managed to catch up to the carriage, which had pulled up to the railway station in the village. But by that time, it was already too late. The basket Musette stowed away in had been loaded onto the train bound for Paris, which had already left before he arrived.
For the last time, my lad, if your friend arrived in that buggy, she has gone to Paris.
All right, I know that, but where's Paris? What is Paris?
The station cat couldn't believe what he just heard. Did Jean-Tom really ask him what Paris was?
What is Paris? Are you mad?
I mean, is it a school or something for felines?
A school for felines?
No? Well, a village, maybe?
Yes, that is what it is. A little village, a mile or two up the tracks. And now, if you don't mind, I do have work to do.
Well, thanks a lot.
And with that, Jean-Tom started running up the railway tracks toward Paris, not knowing, of course, that Paris wasn't just a small village, and it certainly wasn't just a mile or two away. Shortly after he left, Robespierre finally managed to reach the station as well, having just missed him.
Jean-Tom! Jean-Tom! Pardon me, sir, but did you see?
He went that way.
Gee, thanks! Jean-Tom!
And Robespierre started running in the same direction as Jean-Tom to try and catch up to him. Of course, being such a small kitten, he couldn't go as fast as Jean-Tom could. But he wasn't going to give up so easily, so he kept on going, even continuing on through the night without stopping. The next morning, some miles up the track, Jean-Tom was just waking up, having stopped the sleep of the night. He had already traveled a good distance from the village where he started, but he still had quite a way to go to reach Paris. He gave a big stretch as he slowly woke up. Then he turned toward the tracks, and was surprised to see Robespierre, who was still trying to catch up. Jean-Tom couldn't believe he managed to make that distance all by himself. By the time he finally caught up to Jean-Tom, he was completely exhausted and tired, not having stopped once throughout the whole night.
Good morning, Jean-Tom. Nighty-night.
And with that, Robespierre just dropped and fell fast asleep. Jean-Tom, not wanting to leave his little friend behind, especially after making all that way just to catch up with him, picked up Robespierre and started to carry him as he continued his long journey to Paris. Meanwhile, miles ahead up the line, the train Musette was on was steaming along to the French countryside. Back in the luggage van, she climbed out of the basket she stowed away in and looked out at the passing scenery, excited that she was now bound for Paris.
Oh, I can hardly believe it. I'm really on my way to Paris.
Roses red, violets blue, the rhyme is old, but love is new. When love is new, the heart is young, and that is why the spring has sprung. The spring has sprung for hers and his, and that is why the sap has riz. The breezes buzz and roses is where roses never was. All the world is love's a lover, 'cause a lover loves the world, and that is why roses red, violets blue. Let me make this clear to you. When you're in love, it's always true. The goddamn roses must be red and violets must be blue.
Eventually, the landscape began to change from grassy fields and trees to tall buildings and city streets. As the train chugged along, passing signals, crossing over and underneath bridges, Musette took in her new surroundings as they passed by several buildings and even past a few certain significant landmarks, knowing she was now indeed in Paris.
All the world then loves a lover, 'cause the lover loves the world, and that is why roses red, violets blue. Let me make this clear to you. When you're in love, it's always true. The doggone roses must be red and violets must be blue. All this simply means Paris, I love you.
Very soon, the train slowly pulled in the Gare du Nord station and stopped at the station platform. Musette had finally arrived in Paris, and after everything she had seen so far, she believed she knew at once she was going to enjoy her time there.
Delightful.
Musette was surprised when she heard another voice coming from close by. She turned around and saw another cat sitting inside the luggage van as well. He was a tall, slim tuxedo cat with black and white fur. In fact, his fur was even patterned to look like as if he was actually wearing a tuxedo. He also had yellow eyes, and even his whiskers were fashioned to look like as if he had a mustache.
Delightful city, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. Even more beautiful than I dreamed it would be.
First trip to Paris?
Oh, yes.
Visiting relatives.
Oh, no. I just up and decided that I'd vegetated too long on that dreary farm, and that every girl should see Paris, and Jean-Tom is so dull, and I don't know anybody in Paris, and it's all so wonderful it is... Oh, but you must think I'm terribly bold to talk this way to a stranger.
Not at all. I think your enthusiasm is charming, and I'm not offended.
Oh, thank you. I just know I'll be happy here.
Of course. But like any big city, Paris has its pitfalls.
Oh, I realize that. But after all, I'm not exactly a kitten anymore. I choose my friends very carefully.
And that's very wise, my dear. Nevertheless, there are still a few unscrupulous characters about.
Oh, dear me.
You need a friend, a sponsor. Now,
But that would hardly be proper, would it?
Mademoiselle, you cannot be inferring that I would suggest anything improper.
Oh, dear, no. Oh, please forgive me. It's just that...
I thought that my sister, one of the most influential cats in Paris, might be persuaded to take you under her wing, teach you all you need to know, introduce you to society. But, of course, if you would prefer to go it yourself, alone in a strange city, by all means.
Oh, no, please. I would love to meet your sister.
Then it is settled. Come along, my dear.
So Musette began to follow the tuxedo cat out of the station and through Paris to meet his sister. Meanwhile, several miles back down the track, Jean-Tom continued his long journey to Paris, carrying the still sleeping Robespierre. He soon came to a long tunnel that went through a mountain and entered inside. But not too long after he did, he began to hear a loud rumbling coming from behind, which started to make him worry, and he was right to do so. A loud whistle echoed throughout the tunnel, and Jean-Tom looked back to see a train barreling straight toward him in Robespierre. Horrified, he began to run as fast as he possibly could. Eventually, he finally made it out of the tunnel, and was now running across a tall railway bridge that spanned over a deep chasm. Jean-Tom ran as fast as his legs would let him, but there was no way he'd be able to outrun the speeding train as it bared down on him, getting closer and closer. But just as it seemed he'd be run over for sure, Jean-Tom leapt down beneath the rails and grabbed onto one of the wooden ties with his claws as the train thundered over him. But as he clung on for dear life, smoke and steam from the engine drifted down toward him, causing him to cough and making him lose his grip on Robespierre, who started to fall. Thinking quickly, he used his tail to grab a hold of him, just in the nick of time. Jean-Tom gave a heavy sigh of relief. It was at that moment that Robespierre finally began to wake up. But when he did...
Huh? Jean-Tom!
Frightened at seeing the sheer drop beneath him, Robespierre leapt up onto Jean-Tom's head.
What are we doing down here, Jean-Tom?
But at least now he was safe. And after the train had gone, Jean-Tom climbed back up onto the bridge and continued his journey to Paris.
Go home before something happens to us.
I can't, Robespierre. I have to find Musette.
Well, you look for Musette. I'm gonna look for trains.
Meanwhile, back in Paris, Musette was still following the cat she met back at the station, who had introduced himself to her as Maurice, through the city streets on their way to meet his sister.
Is it much further to your sister's shop, monsieur?
No, it is just a little further along the street.
Pretty soon, they came out the two ornate pink doors, one larger one for humans, and a much smaller one that looked exactly the same, but was cat-sized.
Ah, yes, here we are, my dear. The best in all Paris. Salon de Beauté. For felines, Madame Robinchard.
So the two of them stepped inside. Her salon was very ornate and decorated with fancy furniture, quite fitting for such a refined establishment. They found her inside near the entrance, lounging on a sofa and eating a box of catnip. She was a large pink cat with green eyes and purple eyeshadow, wore a white stole around her neck, and had a star-shaped beauty mark beneath her left eye. She turned toward the door when she saw Musette and Maurice enter.
Maurice, how nice to see you again.
This is Musette, my dear sister.
Oh, isn't she pretty?
Musette is new to Paris, dear sister, and I have told her of your wonderful salon where you will make her into the belle of all Paris.
Of course, dear brother.
Then she is all yours, Henrietta. You know what must be done.
But just as Maurice turned around to leave, his sister got up and followed him just as he was about to go out the door.
Now look here, Maurice. It's going to take time and money to make a lady out of this cat. So this time, I want something in advance.
Don't rush things, my dear. Just remember, time is on the side of the scoundrel.
And you are the king of the scoundrels.
Yes. Now, if you will excuse me, I have some business to attend to.
And with that, Maurice left the salon. However, what Musette didn't know was that Maurice had his own plans in mind for her. Later that night, he entered an alleyway and stepped up to a drain pipe. He started to call into it to call his henchmen, which were 4 scruffy black alley cats who did his bidding. So I guess you can call them hench cats. Once they heard his call, they came to the top of the drain pipe he was calling through.
All right, now listen carefully. So I want one of you to keep an eye on that girl at all times. Is that clear?
One of his hench cats agreed and climbed down the drain pipe, then went down a sewer drain to make his way to Madame Rubenschauss's salon.
As they say, evil is the root of all money. Money trees, that is. Big, green money trees.
When preacher can't preach you, and teacher can't teach you, when angels can't reach you, the money cat can. Oh, we give social status to countrified tomatoes.
If you want kicks and class and clothes, cat knows where the money tree grows.
Beauticians will sleek you.
Fashion cats chic you. Aristocrats seek you.
And should that dream of glory be part of your plan?
If anyone can help you, the money cat can.
Money cat knows where the money tree grows.
Mingle with the right folk. Meet the bottle poppers. Rub elbows with the elite and the big name droppers. If you got your heart set on mooching with the smart set,
Money cat knows where the money tree grows.
Get your picture painted on the magazine cover. You can have a palace with the world your lover.
money cat can buy up anyone who's high up.
We've got dicks and politics and law in the palm of our paw. The gendarmes may nail you, the lawyers may fail you, the judges may jail you, man. So why be a flapola with egg on your pan?
If anyone can save you, the money cat can.
Meow.
The next day, Jean Tom and Robespierre had finally reached Paris after making their long journey. But once they did, they were astounded to see just how big a city it really was.
Gosh, we'll never find Paris and all those buildings and things.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, all right.
I told you it was a wild goose chase. Come on, let's go home.
No, Robespierre, I can't go back without Musette.
Well, I can. So long, Jean Tom.
And Robespierre began to walk back in the opposite direction, intending to head back home.
I'm gonna miss you, Robespierre. Take care of yourself.
Robespierre suddenly stopped dead in his tracks when Jean Tom said this.
Take care of myself? Who's gonna take care of him? Without me, no telling what'll happen to him. Alone? Friendless? Far from home?
So Robespierre turned around and walked back to Jean Tom.
Well, don't just stand there. Let's start looking.
And with that said, the two cats headed into Paris to try and find Musette. So, throughout the whole day, they went all over the city, searching and calling for Musette, but without much luck. Eventually, by nightfall, they still hadn't found Musette, and to add to it all, it had started to rain, so they decided to take shelter underneath a bridge for the night.
I don't know why she ever came to Paris.
Meanwhile, back at Madame Rubinschotte's salon, things hadn't been going well for Musette so far. She was having trouble with her lessons. Maurice was there as well, watching over her progress.
I don't know why you ever came to Paris. Your Purr, my dear. It's like a cement mixer.
But that's the way I purred back home on the farm.
Well, it won't do here. It must be refined, yet seductive. Like this. Purr, 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 purr. Now try again and put some throat into it.
Musette tried to purr like Madame Rubinschotte's did, but her purring sounded more like she was gurgling water, which even annoyed Maurice.
Stop! Oh, stop!
Oh, I'm sorry, Madame Rubinschott.
Being sorry isn't enough. Now look, child, we don't want to disappoint Maurice, do we?
Oh, no! I'll try very hard this time.
Good. Now let's show him how poised and gracefully we walk with a bowl of milk on our head. Now walk towards me.
Musette tried her best to walk toward her while keeping the bowl of milk balanced on her, while also trying to look as gracefully as possible. But she suddenly tripped, causing the bowl of milk to splash all over Madame Rubinschotte's face. Musette became very upset when this happened.
Oh, no. I'm a failure. I'll never be a Parisian. I'm going back home. Back with the peasants, where I belong.
Musette then left, crying. Maurice was shocked when she said she was going home. If she left, this would foil his whole plan.
No, no! Stop her! Stop her!
Stop her yourself.
So Maurice rushed out of the salon and caught up with Musette.
Oh, my poor dear. I know just how you feel. Wouldn't you like to stroll on the boulevard? Stop at a sidewalk cafe?
And order Champs-Élysées, just once.
Of course, my pet. Let us be gay. We shall do the town. Vive la gay Paris!
And so, Maurice took Musette out for a night on the town, taking her to many of the most famous places in Paris. The sidewalk cafes, the Eiffel Tower, the Champs-Élysées, which Musette found out was actually a monument, not a dish, and many more. By the end of it all, the two were riding on the back of a horse-drawn buggy. Musette had had the time of her life from all the new sights and sounds of Paris Maurice introduced her to, and was now feeling cheered up.
Do you feel better now, my dear?
Oh, yes. Those sidewalk cafes were so much fun. And Paris is so beautiful. And I feel so important riding in a buggy and...
Musette then looked up at the buggy's back window and saw its human passengers kissing each other. She was very surprised when she did. She had never seen anything like this before.
Oh, good heavens, Maurice. What are they doing?
Oh, them? Why, they are kissing, Sherry.
What's kissing?
Kissing? Why, kissing is, like rubbing noses.
But do they only kiss in buggies?
Well, if you did away with buggies, you'd stop half the kissing in Paris.
How strange. Why is that?
Because, my naive one, there is nothing so romantic as a buggy ride.
The birds will sing from near and far as we go a-trotting up the boulevard. Papa won't scold, Mama won't squawk. You're safe in a buggy 'cause a horse won't talk. A horse may run, a horse may walk, but fortunately the horse won't talk. Let's smooch, smooch, smooch and kiss, kiss, kiss. No old gossip puss will know of this. Alas, why bolt? Alas, why bulk? We can't have a scandal 'cause the horse won't talk. A horse may swish, a horse may bray, but all he'll ever say is nay, nay, nay. Clippy clop, clippy clop, life is sweet, Sherry. Spring is on its way. Snuggle up, my petite Sherry. This kind of love ain't hay. So let's not waste the evening hush. The winds may whistle and the sky may blush, but don't be a fuddy-duddy and a gawk. You can't lose nothing 'cause the horse won't talk.
Eventually, their buggy finally came to a stop when they made it back to Madame Rubenschauss's salon.
Ah, yes, here we are.
Oh, so soon?
So, Musette got off the buggy while Maurice stayed on and left.
Now back to your lessons, my dear.
Goodbye, Maurice, and thank you. How foolish I was. I'll never think of that dull farm again.
And with that, Musette stepped back into the salon to continue her lessons. But just as she closed the door behind her, Jean-Tom and Robespierre came round the corner still looking for her.
I tell you, Jean-Tom, it's hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. She's probably miles from here.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, Robespierre.
Well, come on then. Let's go back to the farm.
Okay.
Now you're talking.
But just as Jean-Tom turned around to start heading back home, he suddenly looked up at the door to Madame Rubenschauss's salon and saw the writing on it.
Robespierre, look! Look what it says.
Felines. That's what Musette said she was. I'll bet they'd know where she is.
Here we go again.
But as Jean Tom was knocking on the door, the henchcap Maurice sent there to watch Musette reached out, grabbed Robespierre's tail, and pulled him down the sewer drain.
Jean Tom! Help! Jean Tom!
When Jean Tom turned around and saw Robespierre get pulled down the drain, he leapt down in the Paris's labyrinth sewers and saw him get carried away by the water.
Jean Tom! Help!
Seeing him being carried away, Jean Tom dove into the water and started swimming after him. Back at the salon, Musette answered the door when she heard the knocking, but found no one there.
Who is it, dearie?
There's no one here. No one at all.
Back down in the sewers, Jean Tom continued swimming after Robespierre as he was being carried away by the currents. Eventually, he finally managed to catch up to him, and after nearly drowning in the process, pulled him out of the water and climbed onto one of the narrow walkways.
You know, Robespierre, we're seeing parts of Paris that the tourists usually miss. Let's find our way out of here and get back to that feline place.
Meanwhile, Maurice was at his hideout, which was in an old bell tower of an old church, writing a letter to his employer, a Mr. Henry who lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the United States.
Mr. Henry 1411 Sandbox Road, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. Dear Mr. At long last I have found a bride for you. With proper schooling now underway, she will be the most beautiful and talented cat in the world. I shall keep you informed of her progress. Your obedient servant, Maurice Merci beaucoup. P.S. I am afraid that the price we agreed upon must, under the circumstances, be doubled. There are other suitors.
And that was Maurice's whole plan. He was having Musette receive her lessons with Madame Rubinschott and have her beautified just so he could prepare her as a mail-order bride to Mr. for a handsome profit. After he had finished writing his letter, he then placed it in an envelope and left to have it mailed off.
Well, I am off to mail this letter. If you ever decide to marry, boys, marry for love of money.
Out in the Paris city streets, Maurice soon came across a mailbox, but just as he was about to place the letter inside, he suddenly saw a small mouse climb off of a manhole cover and run off, scurrying past him. He didn't think much of this at first, but then he saw the manhole cover it came out from began to shake. Then suddenly it flew off, and Jean Tom leapt out and shot straight toward the mouse, his expert mousing skills once again having kicked in. Just like last time, he had successfully caught his mouse. But then, he suddenly remembered Musette's reaction before she left for Paris.
Jean Tom, you take that horrid, vulgar thing away from here this minute.
Remembering this, Jean Tom sadly, and a tad reluctantly, let the mouse go. Maurice had seen everything, and immediately saw a great money-making opportunity from Jean Tom's great mouser skills, and immediately came up with a plan.
Pardon me, my friend, but that was the most remarkable exhibition of virtuosity I've ever witnessed.
Virtuosity?
Virtuosity. A little phrase I coined to describe the incredible proficiency you just displayed in apprehending that rodent. Obviously, it was too small. Throwing it back was such a noble gesture. It is an imposition, I know, but it would afford me great pleasure if you would join me for a bite of dinner and perhaps a sip of...
We accept!
Robespierre had just managed to climb out of the manhole and had overheard the whole conversation, so he rushed right over to Jean Tom and Maurice.
Name's Robespierre, manager of him, Jean Tom, the world's greatest mouser. Now can we eat?
It would seem to be out of our hands, eh, monsieur?
With that, and after dropping his letter to Henry in the mailbox, Maurice led Jean Tom and Robespierre to the Moulin Rouge, which was like the famous Moulin Rouge cabaret, but for cats. Inside, there were bright lights, can-can dancers, fine furnishings, elegant people, or cats in this case, and fine dining. Maurice had brought Jean Tom and Robespierre to a bar to get them a drink.
What'll it be a pleasure you're having, s'il vous plaît?
Messieurs? Milk.
Milk?
No. Let's really live it up big, Jean Tom. Straight cream.
No, messieurs. On an occasion such as this, we drink champagne. Champagne, garçon. Champagne for the greatest mouse catcher in all France and his manager.
So the bartender popped open a bottle of champagne and poured 2 glasses for Jean Tom and Robespierre. The two watched as bubbles floated up from the drink up to their faces.
Hey, it's made out of bubbles.
Of course, not knowing that was not all champagne was, they both drank up their glasses. But with this being their first time drinking champagne, they both became drunk from the alcoholic beverage, blurring their vision, slurring their speech, and making them hiccup.
I just want to tell you that you're all a wonderful bunch of gentlemen. Everyone. I salute you. Vive la France.
Boodles and bottles with bubbles, glasses refillable that slop up each syllable with bubbles, billions and billions of bubbles. When life is bubbable, the whole world is lovable and durable and beautiful with bubbles. Bubbles, bottles and bottles with bubbles. When you are miserable,
Just think something frizzable with bubbles.
Bubbles, billions and billions of bubbles. Hearts are reducible and social and beautiful with bubbles, boodles and bottles and bubbles. Bubbles and parasols that swing you on carousels of bubbles. Bubbles, billions and billions of bubbles. Wishes are wishable.
The whole world is kissable.
And durable and beautiful with bubbles.
Much later, several miles away from France, aboard a ship known as the Alaskan Queen, somewhere across the Atlantic Ocean, Jean Tom and Robespierre had been smuggled aboard inside a bag after Maurice had gotten them drunk from the champagne back in Paris. Down in one of the ship's cabins, they eventually regained consciousness, though both were suffering from a bit of a hangover, and started to try and get themselves out of the bag. A human sailor who was down in the same cabin as them, and had also been shanghaied, was surprised when he saw the wriggling bag.
Here? What is this?
Finally, Jean Tom managed to open the bag and stick his head out, surprising the sailor what he did.
A turtle, perhaps. A turtle with a hangover?
Then Robespierre stuck his head out, surprising the sailor even more.
Ah, a two-headed turtle? Impossible.
Suddenly, the ship rolled to one side, causing Robespierre to slide toward the sailor, who caught him and held him up to get a closer look.
What do you know? This is no turtle. It's just a small bloodshot kitten. Oh, gently, shipmate. I won't harm you, little friend. You see, we three are all in the same boat. The same boat. That is pretty funny, eh? The same boat, no? Say, no, I guess not. The truth is, we have been Shanghai shipmates. Catnapped in your case. And that means we have to work.
Right when Jean-Tom heard this, he immediately came to his senses and ran up on deck towards the stern of the ship. When he did, all he could see was miles upon miles of ocean stretching to the horizon. Robespierre followed him closely behind, and was just as surprised when he saw where they were at now.
It's all right, Jean-Tom. We'll get back all right.
Oh, it's such a big ocean, Robespierre. Bigger than all France. Bigger than the whole world.
Sure it is. But you've never given up hope yet.
I have now. It's too big, Robespierre. We'll never get back to find Musette.
As Jean-Tom looked out on the horizon, it began to rain. Robespierre tried its best to cheer his friend up.
It's not as big as you think, Jean-Tom. Why, look, it's just made up of little drops. It's all how you look at it. Honestly, Jean-Tom. Jean-Tom?
But Jean-Tom wasn't listening to Robespierre. The only thing he could think about right now was Musette.
Little drops of rain, little grains of sand, make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land. Little notes that sing, little words that rhyme, make the mighty memories and the dreams of time. Never let a minute lie there on the shelf, for there may be in it all of life itself. Little smiles of hope, little drops of tears, make this thing called love go dancing down the years.
Eventually, it finally stopped raining, and the sailor they met back in the cabin came up to them on deck with great news.
Oh, there you are, shipmates. I have good news. We are headed for Alaska and the gold rush. We will strike it rich, my friends. Then we will return to Paris in style, eh?
Robespierre was excited when he heard the news, so excited that it caused him to slip on the wet deck and land right into a bucket of water.
Oh, no time for games, little turtle. The rain has stopped and I have work to do. I must swab the decks, yes?
So the sailor pulled Robespierre out of the bucket of water and went off to get to work. After Robespierre had dried himself off, he then looked up and saw Jean-Tom up in the crow's nest, singing.
Little notes that sing, little words that rhyme, make the mighty memories and the dreams of time. Never let a minute lie there on the shelf, for there may be in it all of life itself. Little drops of rain, little rays of sun, make the hopeful rainbow glow for
Meanwhile, back in Paris, Maurice was in his hideout, writing another letter to Mr. Henry of Musette's progress. He had even sent him several portraits of Musette painted by some of the most famous artists in Paris, including Claude Monet, Henri Toulouse-Lautrec, Georges Seurat, Henri Rousseau, Amadeo Modigliani, Vincent van Gogh, Hector Degas, Auguste Renoir, Paul Cézanne, Paul Gauguin, and Pablo Picasso.
So, hoping that you will enjoy them, I ship these paintings on to you. And tonight, I am sending the original article. Musette herself.
After he finished writing the letter, he handed it to his hench cats to have it sent off.
Here, mail this letter, Armand. Now, I want no slip-ups. The train leaves at midnight. I'll be back shortly with the Belle of Purr-ee. I want you to see that she is comfortably settled in her compartment.
The compartment Maurice was referring to was a basket with Mr. Fritz's address written on one side to ship Musette in once he brought her back to the hideout. Short while later, he arrived at Madame Rubenschotz's salon to pick up Musette.
I hope my little protégée is ready for her great adventure, sister.
She is, but you don't get her till I'm paid. In full. No money, no Musette.
Very well, then. I'll write you a check. It's better than money.
Now, that's more like it. It will be well worth it, Maurice. Musette is my greatest achievement, my crowning glory.
For the sake of your dear neck, I do hope so.
So Maurice wrote down a check of 1,000 francs for Madame Rubenschatz as payment, which she was very pleased with.
Oh, how gallantly you put your case, Maurice. No girl could resist you. Judge for yourself whether you're getting your money's worth. Musette, chérie.
Yes, dear Madame Rubenschatz.
And Musette stepped out from behind a privacy screen, looking absolutely stunning, with a lovely collar, eyelashes, and even a beautiful blonde wig. For some reason. Even Maurice was smitten by Musette's beauty.
Musette, my dear young friend, you are beautiful beyond compare.
Thank you, monsieur. You are most kind.
Tonight I wish to speak to you of something very personal. I think you will agree that before this night is over, all your dreams will come true.
Oh, Madame Rubenschatz, isn't it wonderful? I do thank you for making it all possible.
Come, my dear. Paris awaits you.
And dear Madame, may I say everything that happens is because of your faith in me. I'll be back soon and tell you all about it.
Don't wait up, sister. It will be later than she thinks.
And with that, Musette and Maurice left Madame Rubenschotz's salon. Madame Rubensschatz was almost sorry to see Musette go.
Oh, I'm going to miss that beautiful little thing. Well, at least I've got this check to cheer me up.
But when she looked at the check, she was shocked from what she saw. It suddenly started to go blank. Maurice had used disappearing ink to write it down, rendering it worthless. Madame Rubensschatz was now furious with how he tricked her and ripped out the blank check.
Do you know, if the opportunity arose to do him a disservice, I might not be able to resist it.
Meanwhile, Maurice had brought Musette to his hideout in the bell tower, still unaware what he had in mind for her.
What was it you wished to tell me, Maurice?
Tonight, I wish to speak of love, and marriage. You have thought of marriage, haven't you?
Yes, I suppose I have.
Good. Then I know just the one for you. Here's his picture. His name is Henry of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA.
When Maurice showed Musette a photograph of Henry, she was shocked to see who he intended for her to marry.
You mean you want me to marry this fat, old...
You are as bright as you are pretty, my dear. So please get into the basket, like a good little bride-to-be.
Suddenly, Maurice's hench cats came up from behind the basket, opening it up, which frightened Musette.
Who are they?
Business associates, Sherry. Just get into the basket, and you won't have to look at them anymore.
Into the basket? No! Oh, no!
Yes! Oh, yes! You are going to Pittsburgh to marry that rich American. Isn't that what you wanted? Isn't that why you left the farm?
Yes. I mean, no. I just want Jean Tom.
Jean Tom? You mean the world's greatest mouser? Why, old Jean Tom's probably in Alaska about now.
He is not. You're lying, just like you did about everything else.
Call it a weakness. Now get into the basket.
No, I won't. I'm not going to marry anybody.
Musette started to make a run for it, but soon found herself surrounded by Maurice's hench cats. But just as they leapt to grab her, Musette jumped up and grabbed onto the bell rope, causing the church's bell to ring.
After her, boys!
Maurice's hench cat started climbing the rope after Musette, but she kept climbing up until she reached the top of the tower near the bell. She then leapt onto a window close to her, but when she looked down, she saw just how high up she was from the city street below. Then the hench cats finally reached up to her and tried to grab her.
Don't let her fall! I have already paid the postage!
But just before they could, Musette suddenly slipped and started to fall. Luckily, she bounced off an awning below, but then landed on the back of a horse, clawing it and frightening it, causing it to run wildly down the street. Musette held on for dear life as the horse ran out of control, then let go and jumped into a fountain as the horse continued the race on. Musette was now soaking wet, but at least now she was safe. But just as she started to climb out of the water, she suddenly saw Maurice and his hench cats running down the street after her. She quickly hid behind a statue in the middle of the fountain as they ran past. However, one of them suddenly stopped, right by the fountain. Musette kept herself hidden behind the statue as the hench cat looked around trying to find her, until Maurice noticed he had fallen behind.
Come down from there, Armand, you idiot. No time for second story work tonight.
So Maurice pulled him back in the direction the horse had ran off, giving Musette a chance to escape. But some distance ahead, the hench cat told Maurice why he stopped at the fountain.
Well, why didn't you say so, you epithet?
And they quickly turned around and headed back for the fountain. Maurice stopped right beside it, while his hench cats dove into the water, searching for Musette.
Well, do you see her? Hurry! Hurry!
The hench cats swam frantically all around the fountain looking for Musette, even crashing into each other as they did.
You fools! Don't you see those paw prints?
Maurice pointed to a trail of wet paw prints Musette had left behind, showing she had run off in the opposite direction.
Aha! This should be easy. Let's go.
Further up the street, Musette, still soaking wet from her landing in the fountain, was running as fast as she could to get away from Maurice and his gang. Eventually, she turned and ran down one street while her pursuers ran down another, but didn't find her there.
She's not down here! Back the other way!
They then started running down the same street Musette had gone, and soon spotted her up ahead.
There she goes!
Musette then turned and ran down an alley, and Maurice and his hench cats followed suit, but soon stopped dead in their tracks when they came face to face, quite literally, with a large bulldog. And I think we all know just how well cats and dogs usually get along.
Your whiskers tickle, cats. And since I can't stand to be tickled by no cats, I'm gonna tear your tails off and have 'em for breakfast.
We understand your feelings, sir. Nothing like cat's tails for breakfast, but...
Before Maurice could finish, the bulldog lunged at the gang of cats and attacked them.
Please, let's talk this over.
Luckily, Musette had been hiding behind some barrels and hadn't been spotted by the bulldog as he attacked Maurice and his gang, giving her a chance to escape. Shortly after returning to their hideout, Maurice's hench cats were bandaging and propping up his tail, which got mangled from their little run-in with the bulldog. Maurice was furious at them for what had just happened, and how Musette managed to escape their grasp.
After all I've done for you, taught you everything I know, made you despicable scoundrels beyond compare. And what happens? You meet one little dog, and I, Maurice, have to save your miserable, worthless lives. Now get out there and find Musette.
And that's what they did. They left their hideout and went all over Paris, searching everywhere they could to find Musette, going over rooftops, in and out of buildings, down in the labyrinth sewers, climbing around statues, and around famous landmarks. And where was Musette now? She was hiding beneath one of the many gargoyles of Notre Dame Cathedral, where she managed to keep herself from being spotted. But although she was safe from Maurice and his gang for the time being, she couldn't help but feel sad after everything that had just happened to her, and how she may never see Jean Tom again. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, in the snow-capped Klondike Mountains of Alaska, Jean Tom and Robespierre, along with the sailor they met back on the ship, were making their way through the deep cold snow in their search for gold. But so far, unfortunately, they hadn't had much luck.
Brave country, is it not, mes amis? This weather, she is a little nippy for cats. You could call it catnip weather. Oh, catnip weather, no? No. Well, I am discouraged too. We come for gold, we find cold. I tell you what, let's join the Foreign Legion. We go to Africa and get warm again, eh?
Just then, Jean Tom suddenly managed to spot a small white mouse pop its head out of the snow in the distance. When he did, this once again triggered his mouser skills, so he took aim and flew off across the snow to the spot where he spotted the mouse, digging frantically to find it. But that's not all he found when he did.
Mon Dieu! Little turtle! Look! We've struck it rich!
And he was right. Not only had Jean Tom dug out the mouse he caught, but in doing so, he also dug out several sparkling gold nuggets! Robespierre was just as excited when he saw the gold.
Jean Tom, we're rich! We're rich! Yeah! Wow! Whoopee! Yahoo! We're rich! Now we can go back!
And that's just what they did. With their newfound fortune, they were able to start making their way back home to France, and back to Paris to find Musette. Meanwhile, back in Paris, it had been 6 weeks since Maurice first sent his hench cats to search for Musette. By this time, his tail had fully recovered, but he was still furious with his minions that they still hadn't found Musette.
6 weeks. 6 whole weeks lost. Never send kittens to do a cat's job, I always say. Now then, we are going out and find Musette, or there will be 4 new violins in the world.
With that said, Maurice and his gang left their hideout to continue their search for Musette. As for Musette, during those 6 weeks, she had been living off the city streets, cold, homeless, and completely disenchanted. Not only had Maurice tricked her into unknowingly becoming a mail-order bride to Henry But he also had Jean-Tom, her real true love, sent away to Alaska, where she may never see him again. By now, she was feeling very lonely and depressed. Once, she saw Paris as a shimmering, shining city, full of color, glamour, and beauty. But after everything that's happened, Paris had now become a very lonely town.
The glamour's gone, the shades are down, and Paris is only a lonely town. Lonely. When love's a laugh and you're the clown, then Paris is only another town. Dreary. The loveless clown, this town's a weary merry-go-round, and round and round. The chestnut, the willow, the colors of Utrillo turn to gray, gray. Champs-Élysées sounds like way-down blues. Paris is a lonely, dreary, oh so lonely town. That this magic city turned suddenly cold. The chimneys moan, the river cries. Each glamorous bridge is a bridge of sighs. River, river, won't you be my lover? Don't turn me down. For Paris is such a lonely,
As she wandered through the city, Musette had stopped in the middle of one of the bridges to cross the Seine. As she looked down on the icy river, thinking of Jean-Tom, a small tear fell from her eye and dropped down into the water below.
Lovely view, eh, mademoiselle?
Musette suddenly snapped out of her thoughts. She knew that voice all too well. She turned around and was shocked to see Meow Reese standing right next to her.
Oh no, please.
Musette started running away from Meow Reese, but suddenly stopped when she saw his hench cats at the other end of the bridge, blocking her path. Musette was now trapped, with Meow Reese at one end and his hench cats at the other. Seeing no other way to escape, Musette made a very difficult decision.
If there was any other way, I would have waited, Jean-Tom.
She then jumped from the bridge down toward the river, but Maurice's hench cats had gone there first and caught Musette with a bag just before she hit the water.
Nice fielding, team. Come along. We'll take the scenic route home.
So Maurice and his gang entered the sewers, carrying Musette back to their hideout. But right after they left, a buggy started crossing the same bridge they were just on. And riding on the back was none other than Jean-Thomas Robespierre, who had finally made it back to Paris to find Musette.
All right, Robespierre, the first thing we do is head for that Madame What's-Her-Name's salon of felines, and they're bound to know where she is. Come on, let's go.
Jean-Thomas Robespierre then jumped down from the buggy and started making their way through the streets to find Madame Rubenschatz's salon. Once they spotted it, they immediately rushed inside.
Where's Musette?
She's in danger.
Yes, I know that, but...
They've taken her to Maurice's, and I think she's still there.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks. Never mind the thanks. Just give Maurice my love, and then turn him inside out. Now hurry, hurry.
However, one of Maurice's hench cats was still there and had overheard everything, so he immediately rushed off to warn him they were coming, just as Jean-Thomas Robespierre leapt to head there as well. Meanwhile, back at his hideout, after they had brought back Musette, Maurice had her locked up in the basket, ready to have her shipped up to Henry in America.
Everything is packaged these days. Even pretty girls.
Just then, his hench cat came rushing in to warn him about Jean-Thomas Robespierre.
What? Jean-Tom, the champion mouser? At Madame Rubenschatz's?
When Musette heard this, she managed to stick one of her paws out of the side of the basket without Maurice and his hench cats noticing, and wrote down a message for Jean-Thomas Robespierre on the floor with one of her claws.
Quick then, we must be off to the train.
Musette managed to finish writing her message just as Maurice's hench cats picked up the basket and carried her out of their hideout and along the rooftops. Meanwhile, Jean-Thomas and Robespierre were also making their way along the rooftops, racing toward Maurice's hideout. But as they did, they didn't spot Maurice and his gang, hiding behind one of the chimneys they passed.
Let's go.
After they had gone, they continued carrying Musette toward the railway station to catch their train. Meanwhile, Jean-Thomas and Robespierre finally made it to Maurice's hideout, but once they rushed inside, there was no one there.
Musette? Musette! Musette, where are you?
Don't worry, Jean-Tom.
It's no use, Robespierre. We're too late.
Nobody to with.
But just as Jean-Tom was about to leave, he looked back at Robespierre and saw the message Musette had left for them on the floor.
Hey, wait a minute, stop. Look, there's a message. Jean-Tom, I'm being taken to the train.
Now that they knew where Maurice was taking her, they immediately rushed off to try and get to the station. But would they make it there in time? At Gare du Nord station, Maurice and his gang just managed to board their train that would take them to the boat, where they would then ship Musette off to America. As they pulled out of the station, Musette sat crying in her basket, thinking now all hope was lost for her.
Tears of gratitude, chérie? Just think, in a few hours you will be on a boat to America, and your new old rich husband.
Maurice then looked back to see Jean-Thomas and Robespierre running onto the platform their train had just departed from.
Well, here are your little friends, down to bid you goodbye. Au revoir, my children. Don't forget to write.
On the station platform, Jean-Thomas and Robespierre, exhausted from running through the city streets, were dismayed to see the train Musette was on pull away, just too late to reach her.
What are we gonna do? I'm pooped.
Suddenly, Jean-Tom, seeing Maurice waving from the freight car, had a brilliant idea.
Hey, maybe if I imagine.
Using his imagination, he began to picture Maurice as a big black and white mouse. Luckily, his plan worked, as once again, his expert mouser skills kicked in. He immediately took aim and, with Robespierre hanging onto his tail, shot off like a rocket toward the train. When Maurice saw Jean-Tom flying toward him, he quickly shut the freight car's door, with he and his hench cats pushing against it to keep him out. But when Jean-Tom reached their car, he knocked the door down right on top of them, even sending Robespierre flying into some luggage inside the car.
Musette? Musette, where are you?
Jean-Tom?
But before Jean-Tom could react, Maurice and his hench cats formed a human chain and pushed the door right up to the ceiling, sandwiching Jean-Tom between them.
Good work, gentlemen.
When Robespierre saw what they did to Jean-Tom, he rushed right over to them and bit Maurice's tail.
Stop him, someone!
Robespierre kept on biting Maurice's tail until he found himself surrounded by his hench cats. He then let go of his tail, tried to smooth it, and scooted away. But Maurice's gang immediately went after him.
Toss him out the door, boys. He ought to make quite a splash.
But now that his hench cats were going after Robespierre, there was no one to hold the freight car's door up to the ceiling. And, well, what do you think happened?
Jean-Tom, help! They've got Robespierre!
Before Jean-Tom, now free from being squashed, could react, Maurice suddenly flipped the door right on top of him.
Too late, my dear.
But Jean-Tom then pushed the door back in its place, leaving Maurice hanging from the side of the train, dodging passing signals as he did. Back inside the car, Jean-Tom turned and saw Maurice's hench cats attacking Robespierre. He immediately rushed over, quickly saving his little friend and subduing his attackers, twirling them over his head by their tails. Back outside the car, Maurice continued to dodge signals until they seemed to stop. He gave a sigh of relief, until one more knocked him back inside the car. Back inside, Jean-Tom, seeing the door open again, tossed the hench cats off the train, where they got caught by their tails on another passing signal. After taking care of them, he then turned to the basket Musette was locked up in.
Are you all right, Musette? You look all right. I mean, at least your eyes do.
If you let me out now, Jean-Tom, I'll show you how I really look.
However, as Jean-Tom was getting Musette out of the basket, he hadn't noticed that Maurice had been knocked back inside the car and had snuck behind a large stack of crates.
Oh, sure. What's the matter with me anyway? It doesn't really matter, though.
Jean-Tom then unlatched the basket and freed Musette. And when he saw her once she got out, he was amazed with her new beauty.
Why, Jean-Tom, that's the nicest thing anybody ever said to me. Oh, Jean-Tom, I've been such a fool.
Musette then snuggled on Jean-Tom's chest, purring, making him become love-struck. Suddenly, she saw a wooden crate from a tall stack shipped to one side, toward Jean-Tom.
Jean-Tom, look out!
But it was too late, as the crate fell and landed on him with a crash. But it hadn't fallen by accident. Maurice was the one who pushed the crate onto Jean-Tom.
You keep out of it, Robespierre.
Luckily, Jean-Tom wasn't hurt, but now he was mad. As soon as he got out from the wreckage from the crate, he immediately leapt up at Maurice, and the two began to fight, punching, clawing, and yowling at each other. But as they fought, the stack of cargo they were on started to topple. Then it fell toward the open car door. Several crates and barrels fell off the train, but luckily, Jean-Tom managed to grab onto the edge of the car to keep himself from falling off. Maurice tried to make him lose his grip and fall off, but Jean-Tom leapt back in and grabbed Maurice. Now he had the upper hand and gave Maurice a real beating until he was too weak to fight anymore. Jean-Tom had won, but just as he was about to boot him off the train...
Jean-Tom, hold it! Stop!
Huh?
Robespierre then pointed to the address labeled on the basket.
Mr. Henry, 1411 Sandbox Road.
Oh, yes. Good idea, Robespierre.
Jean-Tom soon got Robespierre's idea and placed Maurice inside the basket.
Now you go to Betty Bye, and when you wake up, you'll be on a boat going to meet that rich husband.
Huh?
Right, Robespierre?
Please don't say anything more. I'm dying. I'm telling you.
Robespierre rolled over laughing at the thought of the nasty surprise in store for Maurice and Henry. Even Musette and Jean Tom couldn't help but laugh too. Sometime later, Musette, Jean Tom, and Robespierre had returned to Paris. By then, it was springtime, with flowers in bloom and Paris once again shining with color and beauty. So the three decided to go for a carriage ride through the city. With Maurice and his hench cats gone, his plans foiled, and Jean Tom's newly found fortune from finding the gold in Alaska, Musette was finally able to fulfill her dream since leaving the farm. And she, Jean Tom, and Robespierre could enjoy the high life of gay Paris.
Musette, Musette, my heart for you is one big throb.
Jean Tom, my love for you is formidable.
With love here to stay, every day's a gay bonjour. My heart is touché,
and the world is vive l'amour.
Buds bloom and breezes blow, spring sings wherever we go. Musette, Musette, you will say enchanté once you've met my poupée, Musette. Buds bloom, love sings wherever we go. Musette, Musette, hear them say enchanté and hurrah and hooray.
Ma foi, touché.
Ooh la la, oulé.
So we say en français, vive l'amour.
Vive la gay Musette.
And now we've come to the end of our story. Until we meet again, au revoir!